What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Vulkan, and today we are talking about Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Martyr Prophecy First Impressions. Now, that is the longest video title I've ever said, so for the sake of consistency and conciseness, we're going to say Martyr or Prophecy. Now, this video is going to cover Prophecy First Impressions, and it's not going to be a review over the entire X-Pack because I'm still working my way through it, which is a good thing. I mean, that means there's a lot of stuff going on in the X-Pack itself. So let's get to it. But first things first, we need to talk about exactly what is Prophecy. Well, Prophecy is kind of a hybrid. If you own Martyr today, it functions like an expansion pack. It gives you additional things. You get a new class, a new campaign, new environments, new enemies, which is fantastic. If you don't own Martyr, then Prophecy is its own standalone game. You can buy it for $30 and you get the new class, the new campaign, the new environment, the new races. You get all that stuff too. You also get the original classes, things like that, but you just play through the Prophecy campaign instead of the Martyr campaign. So if you own Martyr, then you can buy Prophecy for a 30% discount. So get out there, buy it if you're looking for it. So confusion aside, that's where we're at. This is what Prophecy and Martyr are. Now, Prophecy is part 2 of the Martyr Redemption Tour, right? Because part 1 was their patch 2.0 that they kicked out, when was that? A couple months ago, maybe? But they completely overhauled combat, looting, leveling, pace of gameplay, speed of your character, new level cap was put in-game overhaul, and new items and crafting. So if there was a system in the game, it basically got completely overhauled, and this game functions so much better now. It functions like an actual action RPG or an isometric hack and slash, okay? It actually functions like something, like it belongs in this genre, and it's not this like weird, half tactical, half like whatever the hell type of deal. So it's fun now. And between patch 2.0 and this expansion pack, it's really kind of reignited my love for the actual game itself. I'm finding myself logging in more, wanting to play more, wanting to actually build my character rather than, sitting down and going, okay, Vulkan, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna power through an hour of this, and then you get to play a game that you really like. That's not fun. And luckily, that is no longer the case. I'm actually able to log in and have a good time of my own free will, not of pure obligation. So the issue was the original game just felt hollow, felt flat. This really gave it a little bit more, luster and kind of breathed a little bit of life back into the whole thing. So let's get to the actual Prophecy. Sorry for the history lesson, but I just want to get those thoughts out. So Prophecy itself, like I said, it brings a new class, it brings new environment, a new campaign, and new enemies. So we're going to break each one of these things down. The new class is, this is the selling point, right? This is the coup de grace, and it's the Tech Adept class. Now, if you love BattleBots, you're going to love this class because this class is a summoner class and it summons robots. Now, you have robots ranging from turrets that just sit there and do what they do best, shoot things, pew pew in the same direction. But you also have these like shrines that you can set up. Once again, stationary. However, anything near them gets a big buff, a bonus. Then you have these two kind of tank tread looking guys. So they're imagine like a futuristic centaur. That's pretty much what it is. You have like a human upper half that has like an axe or like a big shoulder mounted cannon. And they have tank treads for legs. So pretty cool. And then lastly, you have like this big mech. I believe it's called a Castellan robot. And they're all great. They all have their own little kind of quirks. They'll have their own strengths and weaknesses. You start out with obviously the most weak of them, which would be the vivisectors and the shrine. And as you build your character, you actually unlock more of the robots, but you also unlock more slots. So for now, I have an axe that has one actual melee ability for myself, and then all of my other slots are filled up with summoning skills. Now, depending on what you summon, it reserves some of this bar. Basically, you have a energy meter per se. And when you summon a robot, it reserves a piece of that bar. If your bar is gone, you can't summon any more robots. the big badass mech looking dude reserves 50%, and then you have the other 50% you can kind of, you know, mess around with. So that is something to keep in mind, but there have been people that have made some really cool builds with this where you can take all of your constructs. That's what the robots are actually called, but I never call them constructs. So they're called constructs. And there's certain perks you can take to increase all damage done by up to 50% per robot, per construct, and just nuke things. Just let the herd run through the level and destroy stuff, which is fun, perfectly fine. And I'm still working towards that, but there's just a lot of build possibilities with this particular class. It's fun to play. It's overpowered right now, as every new class is. So if you're on the fence, or if you have Prophecy but haven't tried the Tech Adept class, give it a shot before they nerf it, because it truly is fun. And it's fun to see a summoner class in a game like this. Now, another thing you can do with the actual robots is you can customize them. So there's modules, and these different modules are movement speed, energy, HP regen, damage done, shielding. There's so much stuff that goes with this, and it's really cool because you pick each robot, you pick the 3 mods that you want to put on them, and then you can swap their weapons. So you can have it like, okay, I want this guy to be up close melee focused, my big mech. And so I'm gonna put these fists, these power fists on him. So he'll just go up and just punch stuff, you know? And then he's also gonna have this shoulder mounted cannon. So when he goes up, he just like shoulder mounted cannons things into the ground. So you can really adjust these things to your play style. So you're not only building your character and your character skill tree and all that, but you're also building out your robots, your constructs, your summons. And it just gives this class a little extra flavor in terms of customization that the other classes don't quite have. Now, moving into the campaign I'm not going to go into too deep because spoilers, and Warhammer is very thick on lore, so I'm not going to go too much into this. However, just know the campaign was fun. It was interesting. I really enjoyed it. It was cool getting to go see all these different locations and see how each one kind of pieced into the overall arc. And I would say not too much to worry about here. This is coming from somebody who does not follow Warhammer lore closely. So for all of you like lore fiends out there, if I completely just missed the mark and this campaign sucks beyond all belief, just know I am coming from a very naive point of view when it comes to that. So there you go. New environments though. The new environments are really cool. I've been through quite a few, just going through different ships, going through deserts, going through these other areas, and I don't want to give up too much just because campaign, but it's really cool because when you explore these new environments, there's things that are tucked away, they're hidden. And if you're somebody who likes to explore, if you're a Lewis and Clark, right, then you go out and you explore. You explore like you want to, and you find all these cool things. It was very early on in the Prophecy campaign that I actually was just going off the beaten path. I already completed the mission, and I was going off the beaten path, and I found a relic blueprint, actually, which was really cool because that's like the top end rarity. And I was like, oh, dang, what do we got here? And asked Discord, and I was like, hey, is this the top rarity? It is, right? And they're like, oh yeah, man, nice, good RNG, dude, thumbs up. So it was really cool, and I haven't crafted that yet because you only get 5 times you can craft it, but it was just really cool that I was rewarded for that. If I had just exited the mission right then and there after completing it, then I wouldn't have seen that, I wouldn't have it, and I wouldn't have this, I say, experience. So make sure to explore everything. Now, within those new environments, we actually have new enemies, right? You have to have something, right? You have the things to kill in the environment. So we're looking at new enemy races, and that's the Eldari, including Howling Banshees, Fire Prisms, Warp Spiders, and Swooping Hawks. And then you have the Tyranids, including Carnifexes, Zoanthropes, Hormagaunts, and Raveners. And then many others are also included. So they were fun to fight. I really liked a couple of these. I fought a Carnifex, which was really cool. He was kind of like this like mini boss type guy. And like I said, as somebody who's not like big into the Warhammer lore, right? I just don't know a lot. I like it, what I see, but I just don't go out, proactively and read it. It was really cool seeing, these different enemies and these different things that I had to figure out how to kill and how to kind of counter. So overall, guys, Prophecy's been extremely fun. It's been fun, and it's really made Martyr fun. And I think this is a far cry from what it was a year ago. I remember a year ago it was negative. No one liked it. Martyr was bad. And if you liked Martyr, you were a bad gamer. And it just had this negative cloud that just hung over that game for so long. And kudos to the devs, man. They really sat down and they said, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe we need to eat some humble pie and let's figure out what we can do. They listened closely to the feedback of their player base, the people that were still around playing, that still believed in the game. And they went and they said, you know what? Let's make patch 2.0 and here's what we're going to do. They essentially scrapped all of their systems, like their performance style systems, to the side and said, we're going to rebuild this. We're not slow moving. We're not heavy. We're not meaty anymore. We're going to add some extra gore. We're going to make it a little bit quicker. We're going to improve the attack speed, the movement speed of all of our characters. We're going to make this play a little bit more like a modern action RPG. And we're going to bump the level cap. We're going to take the in-game down to the studs, rebuild it by pulling in what Diablo does best, what Path of Exile does best, what Grim Dawn does best. And we're going to take all of these, smash them together. There's your new in-game, and we have new items. And then on top of that, they said, what we're also going to do is we're going to make Prophecy, and we're going to have this new campaign, and we're going to have a new class, new enemies, and all of that. Granted, it does come at an extra $30, but developers got to eat. So you get that 30% discount, though. I will say that. That's good on them. And they really just built this thing up to be such a better game than it was. And I've been having a good time with it. I hope you guys have a good time with it. But I do want to hear from you guys. What have you guys seen in this that makes it maybe interesting or peculiar to you? Have you guys picked it up and played it? And if so, what do you think? I know there's gonna be a few people from Discord that are probably gonna talk about this. And also, what would you like to see Prophecy or Martyr do better? And what do you think they've done well so far? And where do you think the future of the game is gonna go? Is there another X-Back, or does this kind of put a bow on this one, redeem the Martyr brand, and then they move on to the next? I don't know, but I do want to hear from you guys. As always, this has been Vulkan, and I will talk to you guys next time.